Hello out there, everyone. Thank you for stopping by or tuning in. We hope you are blessed and encouraged by our videos tonight. I hope you all are staying safe, that you all are staying healthy during this time. Call me crazy, but I don't really like horror movies. And for the most part, I find them to be cheesy, and that there's often this plot hole that if they would have discovered this at the very beginning, the villain would have been easily defeated. And so I find the entire premise of the movie to be kind of goofy. And I feel as though there are many other things in this world that deserve my time and energy that are often far more realistic and, to be honest, scary than being worried about some mysterious boogeyman lurking around the corner. I've been thinking about fear a lot lately. I feel we have a culture that is consumed with fear. I mean, right now we are afraid of a virus, fearful that an election might not go the way that we want it to, fearful that life may never go back to normal, while some are afraid that life may go back to normal too quickly. Oftentimes, we are held captive by the news that promises to alleviate our fear if only we turn into the 10 o'clock showing. We're sold fear at almost every moment of every day. Fear is what grips us and keeps us coming back for more. All right, so we live in a culture that is obsessed with fear. However, I want to point something out to you that I hadn't really noticed until recently. I've also been thinking, and probably the better thing for me to think about, is the tumultuous life of Jesus. You know, when I look at how it begins and how it ends, there's this, I don't know, great bookend. Well, let's go ahead and let's read what I've noticed. Luke chapter 1, verse 30 starts, "But the angel said to her, 'Don't be afraid, Mary. You have found favor with God.'" And Matthew chapter 28, verse 5 says, "The angel said to the woman, 'Do not be afraid, for I know that you are looking for Jesus who is crucified.'" You see, both of these passages entail an angel speaking to a Mary. And in both passages, the angel is encouraging them to not be afraid. This simple statement is one of reassurance that God is in control, that even in what would be desperate and uncertain situations, that God is the ultimate orchestrator of their lives. I mean, first and foremost, being approached by an angel is a terrifying experience in and of itself. For Mary, Jesus' mother, the road ahead would be uncertain. But there is this reassurance that she had found favor with God, that the creator of the universe looked upon her with favor. What a comforting thought. How humbling, but empowering. And for Mary Magdalene, she would definitely be grief stricken. But to know that there is more to this passage, that God is coming into her life with a messenger to tell her, "Do not be afraid." We know the rest of the story, and fear should have been the farthest thing from Mary's thoughts at this time. But gladness and hope should have been the overarching theme at this moment. So when I think about fear and maybe our lack of fear, I understand that this is our witness. For those who were around either Mary during this time, you could imagine the example of their fearlessness when they either report back to the disciples that Jesus is alive, or as they raise their their boy through childhood the lack of fear, knowing that they had found favor with God. You could imagine the impression that that would have left on those that they came in contact with. That their faith would not be shaken even in the most difficult of times. The world is full of fear right now. But I think we can do our part by not being afraid, by giving people the opportunity to see that there is something that is stronger than the fear that may grip them. See, we are told throughout countless songs that we should stand firm on the rock on which we stand. That these things are echoed throughout the Bible, that we have a foundation that is secured. So why don't we stand on that? We are not of those who are shrinking, not of those who are fearful of the world that is around them, but we know that there is something that is more solid, that is better for us to stand upon. Yes, to be sure, there are many things that we can be afraid of in this life. And certainly we should take precautions against many of these things. Precautions like wearing a seatbelt or a mask, or voting for the candidate that we feel best has our interest at heart. All of these are precautions that we can take. But yet, we do not live in fear. We do not stand back and be afraid, because this is the way that we interact with the world. And maybe the best reason that we should not be afraid comes in this passage. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? And yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care. And even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. God knows all of our fears. And yet he tells us, do not be afraid. The question is, do you trust him? Thank you for watching. God bless.